Hey, race fans, that orange wagon, first #1 qualifier since 2019. Glad to have you guys back. I'm glad you could travel the world and come back out here and race with us again. Now, let's take a little step back in time. Just a little step. You don't have to go that far back. The Nostalgia Prostockers. Oh, they've come a long way, baby, haven't they? Since the time when you would go to the dealer and buy a car and then come home and turn it into a Prostocker. Bill White over on the left side of the racetrack. Tribute to the Joe Satamari machine, the Weehall Chevrolet. And you don't even have to be a real Prostock aficionado to recognize the car over here on the right side. An old Bill Jenkins Vega. Bill Jenkins changed the face of Prostock in 1974 when he came out with the first tube chassis Prostock machine. And we've been working our way ever since. But back in the day, it was screaming small blocks. It was 4 speeds that you had to shift with the clutch. And John Denbrock has recreated that Grumpy's toy in spectacular fashion. Small block under the hood, just ducked under the scoop down there. Hey, didn't know nothing about aerodynamics, didn't know it would just make more horsepower. 4 speeds gave way to Lenco's, and that gave way to Liberty's, which is where we are today. 832 for Bill White on the left side, 871 for John Denbrook on the right side. 156 miles an hour. Remember, that's a small block clutch car. There's another piece of history that you probably don't need a thesaurus to recognize. A Bob Glidden Motorcraft Quality Parts Thunderbird, 87 model. Bob Glidden, of course, who in the early days of Prostock was the master. For a number of years, he was the winningest driver, not only in Prostock, but in NHRA history. Passed a couple of years ago, but his legacy will live on, especially thanks to guys like Keith Bronson, who put together that tribute. Now, this is Keith Bronson Sr. on the right side, the Robert Patrick Purvis Ford probe. The Bronson family, they do love their Fords, and they picked a couple of big-name, big-time historical Ford drivers to pattern their nostalgia cars after. Senior goes 832, 163. Junior goes 843 at 150 miles per hour. Oh, by the way, Keith Sr., that is an original Robert Patrick Ford probe. Now it's Ted Peters. Ah, the mighty Mopars, 94 Avenger. Remember the Dodge boys? Darrell and Scott? Who won? Bobby Bodie is your new ice cream eating champion. Wow, who would have thought a college kid could eat ice cream? Ah, I'll let Joe fill you in with the details. But Bobby Bodie is the ice cream eating champion for 2022. So Ted Peters in the Mopar. Scott Jeffrey on. Darrell Alderman drove those cars. Later on, Gene Wilson. Osborne took a stint. And Mark Pappas over here on the right side. That is an iconic look. Rare Morrison Shepherd. In the early 80s, there was nobody better. And who knows if it had not been for the death of Lee Shepherd in a testing accident in Oklahoma, what that team would have accomplished. Rare Morrison, of course, still actively involved in engine building on a lot of different levels. 768, 142 miles an hour for Ted Peters. Mark got up on the center line down there, shut off to a 792 at 137 miles an hour. Really big thank you to the Prostock guys who came out to be a part of it. They are the Midwest Nostalgia Prostock Association. They wanted to come out here to America's Racetrack and show off some of their machines for you fans. They are pitted over on the left side or the west side. If you'd like to get an up-close look at them, feel free.